I think that's it. You are live. All right, everybody. This is Orion Pirate Radio. I don't know if you've heard, but Dantron is lost in the misty, mist-like mists of time. And he's I thought this was funny. Nobody seemed to care. He was in the place you don't come back from, Communicado. Get it? Like as if Incommunicado was a place that you could be at.
I thought that was the joke.
It was. I thought it was a clever joke, and everybody just kind of.
I liked it.
I
just assumed that was the joke, and I got it.
Walker had your reaction. He's like, "That's the level of humor. Everyone's, why would you? That's
everyone should be up here.
It's like that's a B+ joke, but like that's where we're at, Dad." And I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyway, that's why I'm not wearing Star Trek stuff. I'm wearing a non-actionable, pop culture amalgam of I've decided the backstory for my character today. I'm a background character in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which explains the store-bought nature of my Guardians thing.
Okay.
And so I'm one of the guys taking pictures on whatever avenue that is. Sunset Avenue with all the characters, and I actually enjoy watching The Simpsons, so I have the Springfield Isotopes cap on, and so all of this prevents me from being sued because this is a third character that is not, what do they call that? A something work. It's not tangential work, derivative work for all legal purposes. This is not a derivative work. This is what. It's probably Captain Non-Canonical's ancestor from the U.S.
I was going to say, I mean,
let's keep it in the Larryverse.
It's a long history of
non-canon. Anyway, so that's why. Oh, dude, I was thinking. I got a little prop from everything that I enjoy, but I was thinking, hey, since we're doing pirates, can't really do pirates because all my pirate stuff is actually facing towards the street. Our house has a pirate flag. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So. I'm like, I don't really have anything even fascistic to cover up my Captain America thing. Fascistic. And then I thought, oh, dude, I have in one of my cabinets screen used Judge Dredd banner.
Nice.
So it's set dressing. It's nothing great. Carl Urban didn't blow his nose in it.
He might have.
It was pretty clean. If they did, they watched it. So I don't have a,
whatever,
Clinton Lewinsky problem. Where I've got this clone of Carl Urban's to play Dr. McCoy and Judge Dredd forever.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Anyway, Star Trek.
So about that Star Trek, right?
Did you see the thing on Screen Rant?
No,
they literally did. Let me just get this out of the way because this is speaking of reaching the level of your own ability. These stupid, just cold oatmeal porridge of a website wrote a 2,000-word article. Its headline is like, fuck yeah, this Strange New World Season 3 is coming back. They're in production, and somebody leaked a picture of some fucking cool-ass thing that it's a mainstay of Star Trek lore. And I'm thinking there's no character stuff has leaked yet. I don't know. I thought that was the red alert.
It's my cat.
It was like
one of my cats that I hate.
Anyway, it's no, it's cool. It's but Screen Rant, the thing that the big reveal, the beloved thing that the trope that we're all hoping to see is a console blows up. Somebody tweeted a picture with an index card that said "Caution, live pyro" with some tape. So the actors know, hey, don't put your coffee on that because we're going to blow it off later, right?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And from that picture, they extrapolated a 2,000-word article about all the different times that stuff blew up on the engines. And why don't they? And then in this movie, they put seatbelts. And I was like, are you fucking out of your mind?
You know how I know Screen Rant is not written by AI? And that it's actually stupid people? Because AI would not write 2,000 words on that.
Yeah.
Right? Only stupid fucking Screen Rant motherfuckers would do that.
Anyway, that's not even getting into the whole like the time that you applied there and they were like, what? You're a PhD?
No. I don't. I got nothing to say about that. It's just like, I mean,
but is that a secret now? You were pretty open about that.
No, it's not a secret. It's just like what, and then the person ostensibly that they hired, I forget their name, but I mean, they didn't last long because there's only so many fucking clickbait Star Trek headlines you can write.
I know.
Anyway,
that's why I don't. Whenever I write an article for Dorkcord, it always tries to tell me, "Hey, your headline doesn't make sense to the people who care about that shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but it's a joke 20 people are going to get, and that's my audience."
It's just very stupid.
Where's my metric for that? Like, okay, serious people, and then Larry and his ilk.
That's right.
So, what's your cat's name? You got to tell us.
This is Hercules.
Okay.
He is incredibly loud. He's big. He's a big dude. He's like 20 pounds of like just muscle.
Is that a 20 pound cat? That's
no, he's a big guy. Come here, stupid. Come here, stupid. So he's a big kitty.
That is an awesome cat.
Look at how happy he looks.
He does. He looks half Wakandan, actually. I want to go like this,
Oh, Hercules. He wakes me up every day at 6 a.m.
I was going to say it's the same time within like 2 or 3 minutes every day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's every day. 6 a.m.
What is that with cats? I feel like we're on
very good.
I feel like we're on NPR. We'll get back to Star Trek in just a second.
Yeah.
What Kevin Riley means. But let's explore this cat thing again. I've had black cats my entire life. Yeah. Come on. That's pretty funny.
I like black cats.
I love it. I'm Captain Kirk about it. I'd rather have a Vulcan there if possible.
Yeah. Hercules, my favorite thing about Hercules is he eats too quick and then he pukes it up. And then he's hungry again.
Yeah, he's a diva then, right? That sounds very Kate Moss behavior.
He's
I don't want to gain the weight.
Asshole. He's a real asshole. So yeah, that's Hercules. And then if you hear a dog, that's gonna be Gus.
Oh, dude, I was having such a good time chatting with you. I didn't even look at the comments. Who do we got? How are ya, shirt tuckers? That's Philbo Baggins, I'm pretty sure. Chris Sagasag. Hector, good, and you? Happy. All right, Hector. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. That's cool.
Welcome to Pirate Radio.
Hector got me on something yesterday. I kind of did this half-ass thing. Mark and Steve and I were playing around with the controls, and I accidentally went live for 6 seconds, which was just a black screen because I had my little camera thing done, but the microphone's live. And so I'm like, oh my God, I know I was talking to myself. And it was one of those things where I was, but it was like super inaudible. I mean, your microphone's right here, and it just sounds like this black screen. It just sounds like, yeah,
nice,
fucking motherfuckers. I mean, you can kind of tell like whatever's going on. The dude is a little frustrated, but you can't hear what he's saying. And I'm like really glad because that was lame. And so then Steve and Mark showed up and went, Larry, just click this, click that, go over there, apologize to your mother, and click that. And I'm like, all right, worked out.
I do need to, speaking of apologize, this should be the last episode where I have a shitty background. The construction in this part of the house is finally complete. So I'll be putting this back together sometime in the near future.
I think that's fantastic. So, are you doing that, or do you have? Like,
no, God, no.
No, you got a contractor.
No, you have a contract. Yeah, because we were doing like the whole bathroom. We changed a couple rooms around. We're gonna take down a wall for the kitchen. Like it's a whole thing. He had to literally lift up the house like at one point because it's like the house is built in 1950. And they just keep like putting stuff on top of the joists, and it just kept going down and down and down because they're idiots. So
I don't mean to jinx your, calm or anything, but can I just ask you, how are you so reasonable, and how am I just hearing the level of that? I just thought you were changing that little wall with the glass door behind you. And
that was step one. It's funny you say that because I'm definitely not calm. But they haven't really fucked us yet, so I can't really be too mad. They've within reasonable limits gotten everything done and everything works. So
I just mean that it's a stressful thing that other people in your house moving your shit around to the point that wall isn't there anymore, or that door is twice as, or whatever, right?
It was definitely not fun over the summer when, because I teach at Starfleet Academy High School, and it was just me and the contractors, and I was sitting there like, I want to be like 3/4 naked right now, and you guys need to leave right now. I want to watch Band of Brothers and my boxers. Go away.
Our house, we did 2 big renovations. We added on like 800 square feet, and then we redid the kitchen a little later. But when we did the addition, our contractor was the coolest ass guy I've ever met. Like everything was fine. There was no trouble. If there was something going on, at worst, I saw him do this at 2:00. He's like, "Hey, fella," he's an Irish guy. He's like, "Hey, fellas, we're gonna go close up early today. I'll see you up at O'Brien's here in about 20 minutes. Yeah, all right. Let's see you tomorrow morning." That was the worst thing. And he didn't tell me what it was until we finished the project.
Nice.
So, you take care of things. So that I was come to find out is not the usual way things go.
No. People have horror stories.
And so then I thought, oh, I hope you're not doing that. Although I did think of you at Home Depot the other day.
Nice.
I did not lose my shit at somebody because I was like, you know what? John has told me what's happening here is not their fault.
It's usually not. Sometimes it is, but usually not.
I went to go get a load-bearing hinge. And there's somebody in the hinge section, which I found on my own. I am not a stupid man. And I'm like, okay, this is where the hinges are going to be. And they have those little back and forth things, but I need this thing that does that. I don't know what they're fucking called, or I would have ordered one online. Right? So
very true.
So fortunately, there's a nice lady with a smock and a doodad and looking at the things, and she's checking it off. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that I go, "Hey, I'm looking for load-bearing hinges. Do you have them in a drawer somewhere, or I'm in the wrong place?" And she, without even looking up, goes, "This isn't my department." So ordinarily, I would have burst into flames like the Human Torch, because just because that's not the answer to anything.
That's not the appropriate answer.
It's just not to anything ever, right? That's not my department. That's like a joke to a Jack Benny show in 1950, right?
Yeah.
So, but because I've spoken to you and you've had the experiences you've had, and you're a teacher at heart, and put the story out into the world, I say, well, of course, but just is there somebody who I could talk to about just a load-bearing hinge? I want to have this thing of shelves. I want to make it into a little door to hide, and she just doesn't even want to hear it.
Yeah,
she's like, it's not my department. So
she's having a bad day.
So in the middle of all that, I see that go on off her face, and I think to myself, you know what? You're 60 years old now, man. You're Larry 6.0. Let's see what happens if we do this. And I went, I understand. Thank you. And I went about my day. And then karma repaid me, because literally 30 seconds later, I ran into like the garage door things. And I was like, oh, garage door hinge. That's perfect. I can make that work. And I found out that there are 4 unique different kinds of garage door hinges, which was just a fascinating bit. Like as a writer, oh my God, I said that
as a writer
on camera. Bad Larry. Evil,
as a certified writer. Yes.
I merely meant, Your Majesty, that I collect these weird little things because you never know when that's going to be a detail for a character or some bit of dialogue or some nutty shit. So yeah, and that's how I go through life, not committing crimes. Basically, I'll be like, oh, I'd murder this old lady right in front of me who's merely living her life, but has somehow driven me to a murderous rage by thinking that, oh, they made Star Trek stamps once or something, I'll just think some... You know what? Astronauts can't hiccup. That's true. Do you know why? Zero gravity. The little thing that flips back and forth won't...
Oh, look at that.
Won't let it go. In fact, they're snoring too.
Speaking of astronauts in trouble, how much does For All Mankind suck this year? Scale of 1 to fucking put that shit out on Mars with Danny.
Well, we sort of talked a little about this. It
No.
sucks beyond like any dreams of like, say you hated that show, you hated like Wyatt, like the first 2 seasons, everybody's like best show on television.
Yeah.
The end of season 2 is like best episode in 5 years. Said Rolling Stone, like for real, that's just not us. So everybody got mad and decided to hate that show and willed it to be the complete opposite worst thing that everybody liked the first 2 seasons. And then they sort of like stumbled across the finish line in season 3, and then this one, I don't even fucking know what they're doing.
Season 3, I mean, I like the payoff, but like, so I can live with it. I can live with the finale, right?
Well, yeah. Okay, I agreed. You kind of need season 3 because that's what happens to all the people you followed. But now season 4 are new people in a stupid situation, so there's nothing compelling.
Everything is stupid. Everything is stupid. First of all, what year is it? Like, I think it's supposed to be 2003, right?
That's Walker. So
we're supposed to believe that there's a functional Martian colony in 2003.
Just fully up there too, right? Like
just up there, just full of 100 people.
Walker and I sort of talked about this, that they could have got all that they're getting out of it by making it Jamestown, right?
Yes.
So
Jamestown should be the focal point of this goddamn show.
I mean, at least for another 2 or 3 seasons, right? Because the whole idea is it's mankind jumping out into the world. And now they have like fucking labor unrest on Mars, like 10 years after they
and it takes like phone. 2 years to get to Mars, right? Like,
well, they said they have some ion drive where it takes a year now.
Fine,
and it
still
takes a year, and it doesn't matter where they are in the orbit.
Fair enough. Fair enough, right? Okay,
it
takes
magic
a day to get to the moon. So if you want these like they're having like real-time communication with DC from Mars, like for these like, oh well, President Gore wants this. Oh well, Commander Danny Poole. So like, just do that on Jamestown. Like Jamestown should be the focal point of this show.
It
should be.
I agree.
Everything they're doing with Mars should be Jamestown.
I think they're just victims of their success, right?
They are. They absolutely.
I think they panicked and went, holy shit, we were telling everybody that this is a 5 to 7 year show. And then they went, oh man, we might get 5 to 7 seasons out of this. And then they refigured like the major, because obviously they knew where they were going. But they had the Lost problem. That's why you ended up with like the last season of Lost that didn't make any sense, because they had mapped it out. It's like, oh, well, if we have 7, we have to tap dance here, and now that means we have to be on Mars by season 4, and then it starts to smell a little.
Right. Beyond the structural problems, of course, that it should be about Jamestown, not Mars. Fuck Ed Baldwin. Fuck that makeup job that they're sticking on. Ed
that's kind of not his
fault. Why is 80-year-old Ed Baldwin in charge of the Martian or the XO on the Martian? Like, go away. Like this is like, you're supposed to be doing like
none of it makes any
realistic alt history, right? That's the premise, a realistic alternate history where Russia gets to the moon first, right? Fine, that's great. Bring in a next generation and not just Ed Baldwin's kids. But
that's kind of why I don't like this season, because there is no alt history at all.
No, not at all.
Like, to the fact that we kind of don't know what year everything is taking place.
Right.
Like Hector thought it was 2004, and like, Walker and me and Mimi think it's between 2003 and 2005 at some point.
Yeah.
Right. But then it's like, it's hard to tell because it's wintertime in Russia and it's summertime in Florida, so it's like, you can't even guess like what time of year it is.
And one thing they do that pisses me off, they do all of this fantastic world building, and then they stick it on like their website.
Say thank you to Steve.
Oh, Steve Ukrin. Hey, buddy.
Thanks for helping us set this up, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man.
Clutch.
Emergency engineering.
He's from the USS Hiawatha.
There you go.
Yeah. He'll show up like Tig Notaro.
That's right. I completely forgot everything about Discovery because it's dead.
Did you see they're like bragging, the news, Star Trek news is like, hey, we released a clip. And I'm like, all right, I'll watch this clip. It starts off with, it's like Mad Libs of Discovery. It's like, tight shot on Michael Berman. Pull back. She's crying. Talking to Brooke, going, what's up, honey? And then there's a CG monster alien, and they go, pew, pew. Discovery, season 5. I'm like, oh my God, that could be. We used to make fun of it just in the beginning, going, if this was a generic action show, we'd probably like it, right? Turns out probably not. Right? Probably not. But it's but yeah, it's just generic action space show. Like there's nothing.
Well, I actually did read, I don't think it was Screen Rant, I think it was one of the other shit websites, but it was something like they didn't know season 5 was going to be the last season, allegedly. So what they did is,
because they had such good vibes, they thought they were going forever.
After the success of Strange New Worlds, the order came down basically to Strange New Worlds-ify Discovery. And so Michelle Paradise in this article was bragging, like, yeah, that's what we did. We made it more like Strange New Worlds, and then we got canceled. And I'm like, you guys are fucking cowards, all of you. You're all cowards.
I don't even see. I mean, I know what they mean. Make it more like Strange New Worlds. It's code for do some fucking Star Trek, you fucking nutless dickheads.
Obviously.
And so, and then they go, oh, we did, and then we got canceled. It's like, yeah, because that was season 5. There's literally no way to save that show. Like, any kind of format change is going to be an admission that nothing has worked so far. And so there's no way an audience joins season 5 or season 6 of a show that is the amount different you would have to do to make people interested in those characters and situations.
Also,
you know I mean? Just do another fucking show, man.
I need someone way more educated than me to talk about this, but apparently, like, Paramount is like hemorrhaging money. So I don't know if anyone in the comments knows about that. Hop on in and tell us about it. But yeah, that's what I see on Twitter all the time. That Paramount is.
It's cool. I don't know what that means, but if it's because they're making original content, please do, because that Bass Reeves show is great.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of stuff going on, and like I said in the green room earlier, our family has to agree on all 3 things to watch, which is good news for like that Godzilla show. Like all 3 of us go, yes, we're into that Godzilla show, that's a miracle if you ask me. But so yeah, they got our family, but we all agree on Bass Reeves too.
Yeah,
and that's one of the ones that we're like, is that show on? Did that show? Yeah, no, that show's on Sunday.
I'm only, I think, 2 or 3 episodes in, maybe, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good.
Because Walker and I, pay attention to the storytelling and narrative and choices that they do. Like last night, we watched the latest episode, and for some reason we were just talking like Bass, the actor's voice, for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes after, and me was not having it. We were like, yeah, since it's about time to go to bed, what do you think, sir? Let's go. And he was like, going to murder both of you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Dad, I'm gonna do my toothbrush right now, Daddy. It was pretty funny. But I was like, it's a really curious affectation that they do. But then I think, I don't know how historically accurate that is, this is why you're on today, is to tell us.
Okay.
Because you're the man who destroyed the Confederacy. I think we all remember, right?
Yep.
You put the final nail in the coffin of the Confederacy.
So I remember that.
Is it safe to say that, like, in Oklahoma in the post-Civil War time, there's not a lot of educated people around?
No.
So maybe elocution and diction isn't really high on people's.
No.
Manner.
And enslaved people were intentionally kept ignorant, because every time there would be a slave revolt, of which there were many, the white people would overreact. So, like, for example, there would be a slave revolt where, a guy who knew how to read and write was kind of coordinating it through letters, right? Well, obviously the solution is to make sure slaves don't know how to read and write, So every time, over the course of a couple hundred years, basically slaves were like the most ignorant people possible, intentionally by their enslavers. So Bass Reeves coming as a slave, right? You would have functional knowledge, right? You would know how to operate machinery, you know how to, do stuff like that. But yeah, like you're saying, proper elocution, not high on the list. No.
So much cool stuff if you're really into the minutiae of that world. Like Walker and I did a deep dive on Cinco Pesos. That the coin, you of course know the coin that is sort of the same size as the Texas Ranger badge. So they would call the Texas Ranger badge, they would call Rangers, oh, that's Cinco Peso, which is kind of cool. So we read about that. And so there's lots of cool stuff. There's lots of ins to learn different details from that show.
Yeah, history is fun.
Bang Bang, that was cool.
Bang Bangs are cool too. Yeah.
So I love that. He was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger, right? Most people.
That's the story. Yeah.
Most people know that. So they took Silver, his white horse, and that's so iconic to the Lone Ranger, and it's just so funny because just dude had a white horse, right?
Yeah.
And you sort of wonder, if the world remained the same, and he had just this shitty brown horse,
right?
Like, first of all, what's the Lone Ranger's horse's name in that world, right? Because it's not Silver. Anyway, that paralyzed me mentally for about 20 minutes last night.
Yeah,
but that's because after we watch something cool, everybody decompresses with Flea Market Flip.
Oh, Jesus.
And so Jess would love that one.
That sounds awful.
I mean, the science officer.
Science officer, yes.
Of the USS Kitty Hawk.
Yes.
Just because, dude, even you would like this. So the conceit is a pair of dipshits go into a flea market, buy some crap for loosely thematically based, put a coat of paint on it, and then try to sell it to the rubes who come to the store the next day. And then whoever has a net positive win, like you can take in the most money, sell the biggest thing, but if all your materials cost more, like you can't win. And that's two pairs of morons, and they fight for $5,000 like it's the fucking Nobel Prize and they get to be president of the world. It's insane.
Nice.
And so for a half an hour, even guys like you and me can go, well, I don't approve of any of this, but I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the general disposition I have when most things are on my TV. So,
oh yeah,
I don't care about any of this, but I'm invested.
I was just gonna say, this is why Walker and I love it, because we go with Steve and Mark to this thing called the Alameda Antiques Flea Market, which if you've ever seen Mythbusters, they'll do something like with it's just on the old Alameda Air Force Base where there's landing strips, and they'll do something with a car that it doesn't matter that nobody's driving and it's exploding. Imagine that place, except there's a giant flea market and it opens at like 5 a.m.
That's awesome.
It's full of shit like my office. It's great. Anyway, and then make that a reality show.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they'll make anything a reality show.
Sounds like you're not gonna like it.
No, not at all. But that's okay. Have
you haven't been watching TV. You've been busy bending the youth of America's minds.
It's true.
So you haven't seen there's a new Dune trailer?
I haven't. I have the tab open, but I haven't watched it yet.
Isn't that a cool thing you get to say in the future?
Right?
Right. Not just it's on my to-do list. I got a tab open.
Yeah.
That's so many tabs open.
It's yeah. The chief science officer strenuously disliked Dune, the first part. So I can't wait to go make her watch the second part.
Steve and I were talking this morning. If they do a double feature in IMAX and just burn that movie into our brains for 4 hours, I think that's going to be the coolest movie ever made. But the problem with the first one is it's half a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's like, the book doesn't even get good until then, right?
Right.
It's like,
right.
what did I just pay for?
Right.
Like Zendaya was in this for like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah,
You
it's
literally
crazy.
put every scene that she's in theatrically in the fucking trailer. Like
She's
literally.
in the trailer more than she is the movie.
Right.
Like
They use more shots of her. Oh my god.
I would 100% watch 5-hour Dune cut. Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know who else would is Steve Ukraine.
Yeah, let's do it.
He talks about it like a religion. I found that lamp in Price's background there last
That
week.
one?
Yeah.
That is a Virginia Tech lamp. So, good luck.
Well, he probably means that cool, like stained glass sort of.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's good times.
All right. That's all.
So, like I said, we're getting better at cleaning this all up, and I'll look like a professional human being in the near future.
Do you don't have your parents over for the holidays, right? You go over there, or
they'll probably come over like Christmas Day,
because this whole nonsense isn't going to be done by Christmas, is it?
Oh, this is just the office.
Oh,
this is just the office.
Yeah.
No, the rest of the house is fine.
Oh, it is. Oh, good. Yeah, you're almost done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
well, they haven't torn apart the kitchen yet. We're doing that after the holidays.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. You need a place to cook the turkey.
They finished the bathroom allegedly today, so we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Look at what Hector says. This sometimes I think that man has been dropped on his head. It wrapped up Dune in 2 hours. Do you really think that? Can you say that with a straight face, Hector?
I mean, it's certainly 2 hours.
I don't know how old Hector was in 1984, but he wasn't in his 20s. I'll say that. And Dune, when it came out, I was working at a comic store. It was really fun because I was a local celebrity in the pop culture place because it was the only place to get comics in 100 miles. And if you wanted and talk about that shit, you had to talk to me on Saturday and Sunday. And so I remember for a fucking fact walking in opening day at Dune, and all the customers and friends of mine and stuff go, "Hey man, what's up?" Like, "Hey, popcorn. Hey, Dune, that's gonna be great. Oh, hey, what's going on? Oh, I saw your girlfriend the other day. Oh, let's go." And right as I'm going in, they stop me like, "I'm sorry, sir, you can't go in." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, didn't you just see this? People are taking their pictures with me." And they go, "Oh no, you need this." And at the door, they were handing to every single person who walked in a little 2-sided sheet of paper with a glossary with definitions of
that's amazing.
Muad'Dib and
that's amazing.
Kwisatz,
that's the smartest thing. Yeah.
And it's like, so the studio knew at the time, even in the middle of buttfuck wherever I was then.
Yeah.
Worcester, Mass. Right? That not everybody had read a fucking 700-page paperback. And is Steve saying this?
Steve said, I read the first page in 2 hours. Yes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So anyway, just going, oh yeah, I like that Lynch version. They wrapped that all up in 2 hours. It's like, dude, if that's his thing, he probably read that glossary because there was a lot of like really good info on there.
That's amazing. You know what show needs a glossary? Star Trek.
Which iteration? Just all of them?
Well, the good ones.
Do we need a glossary? I can see it.
No, absolutely not.
I can see it in Battlestar.
We have websites. We have all sorts of things. We have technical manuals. It's a good time. Star Trek's a good time. I don't know. What do you think?
Star Trek?
Yeah, it's a good time.
I like Strange New Worlds. I like Lower Deck.
Oh my god, dude! The chief science officer texted me the other day the phrase "I like science," and I was like, "Are you quoting Shitty Spock?" And she was like, "I don't know what that means."
Oh, you got excited for a second.
I was like, "Oh no, it's even worse. I mean, she is Shitty Spock. It's even worse than that."
Wow.
So that's my life.
So there's your end for your comedy sitcom that your friends want to make.
Yes, yeah.
That's it.
I'm married to Shitty Spock.
That's right. No, it's like, a gorgeous girl who passes for human, but she's an alien.
She's actually Ethan.
What are you gonna do? She's got a catchphrase. You can buy the little toys. What are you?
That's right.
Do?
Anyway,
$1 million idea. This is what I do. I sit here and I shit that stuff out. Anyway, yes. Oh my God, Chris Sagasag. You don't even know, like, Walker's friends at high school in San Francisco say that to each other, and they have no idea why, but they use it correctly, right? Because they heard him saying it to me.
That's so funny.
Space Seed, and like, oh, you're just like making fun that I said something obvious. That's how they use it, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's how we use it.
That's how that's how you're supposed to use it. That's right.
It was good enough for Dad. Anyway.
Man, you remember those old Star Trek groups where like every third post was just like Jolene Blaylock? And it's like, okay, we get it. You're an old fat guy who likes to jerk off to Jolene Blaylock. Congratulations.
Oh my God, I thought you were talking about, I don't remember any Star Trek things where Jolene Blaylock was interacting. And so I was waiting for you to keep going. Like every other post was Jolene Blaylock. And I'm like, I remember.
No, just a picture of.
So I remember going to places that were like, I remember every other post was Garrett Wang. And then I'm like, I can't say that. Everybody gets mad when I'm like, oh, that episode that you worked so hard on sucked raw donkey balls. But and I get people gotta bump the beach ball, but
poor guy.
It's funny because it's true.
It is. It is.
And you know who's getting like that? Terry Metalis. Man, if I see one more fucking bought and paid for article about how all Star Trek fans are begging for Star Trek Legacy.
Oh my God, dude.
I will just, I don't know what I'll do.
That's like the definition of
ignore it and go do something else because it's bad for my blood pressure.
I mean, look, I understand if you're Terry Metalis, you want to promote this idea that you have that will make you a lot of money. I understand that, right? What I don't understand is people buying it, like buying into it. Like, well, it's an awful idea.
The answer is there's a lot of stupid people, and brute force marketing works on morons, right? So on paper, that's an awesome idea. Hey, Star Trek Legacy, give me that old Star Trek I used to like. But the way they left it is it's just a show with 7 of 9's got a ship. And like what's the end there? There's no what's that?
Well, and I mean, look, if you want to make a show with 7 of 9 as captain, that's cool.
But you need an end, and that's what's wrong with Discovery.
Well, yeah.
You cannot tell me who the star of that show is, what they want, who wants them not to get it, and how that happens. Which is all you need. And you can do that with fucking, the dumbest sitcom ever. You can do that with Mad About You.
That's true.
And they, for some reason, the new Star Trek guys don't get that. And they
Mad About You wasn't a dumb sitcom.
No, but I'm saying at that level, I know. You know what they want. You know who the leads are. You know what they want. You know what's in their way.
Michael Burnham wants to cry, and the people stopping her from crying are the bad guys. And so the resolution is she gets to cry.
You know what I want as an audience member? I just want people to pronounce Sarek's name correctly.
Sarek.
And they can't even do that.
This reminds me of Sarek.
Anyway, they're like, oh, make it like Strange New Worlds. They don't understand what makes Strange New Worlds work because there's this like I learned 99 red balloons in English phonetically because German's my first language, so I end up saying 99 ministers meet, right? Mm-hmm. But that's fine. That's part of the charm, right? Except everybody knows how to speak Star Trek. Star Trek's a language that we know. Yes. And so getting a bunch of guys who learned it as a second language, and that's being generous, it's just fucked up. At best, you get a little solid, a really nice echo, a really nice mirror image of that shit that we used to enjoy. There's a couple good episodes. But if your entire season is 10 episodes, fuck you. Every one of those things has to be award winning.
Right. If your entire season is 10 episodes and you don't tell a Star Trek story, that's not good. Like,
no.
And look, I'm very guilty of, going after the aesthetic changes, like, which are awful and stupid and should have never been done. But you don't need to go after the aesthetic change. That's where everyone lost the plot, like in criticizing Discovery, because they assumed that all of the criticisms were against the aesthetics, and they weren't. The aesthetics were the easy way to criticize Discovery. Everything about Discovery didn't work. You know what else would never work? A Captain Worf television show. Yeah. I am so sick and tired of hearing about Captain Worf. Of course, Michael Dorn wants a fucking TV show. He wants work. I understand that. But fuck off with the Worf shit. He's a terrible fucking character and I don't like him.
Do you really think that we're in danger of that?
No, not at all.
Because you remember before.
But to the same point as like Star Trek Legacy, you get a ton of articles being like, Michael Dorn deserves his own show. It's like, no, he doesn't.
That's what I was going to say. Why I feel better now is because it started with Captain Sulu in the movie.
Yeah.
Give me that Captain Sulu show. And then it was like, no, we want Captain Worf because Captain Sulu is like an old crazy man now.
Yeah.
He's funny online, but we don't care anymore. Captain Worf. And now it's just like, if we hadn't gotten into Neutrogena T-gel by now, like, oh, no, this is Star Trek Legacy. But the thing is, man, what's that show about? We understand the boy, right? Why?
And it can't be some galaxy-threatening thing. Like, that's not your answer, because that's all Discovery is. Every single season of Discovery is the galaxy is in danger. Okay,
dude, can you just hang on for a sec? I think I locked my kid out.
Uh-oh. Finally, I have the reins to everything.
Oh, you're in. I thought I lost.
Yes.
All right, good.
What do you guys want to talk about now? So you want to talk about how much we don't like Larry's costume? Is that what we're talking about? I'm just kidding. Oh, hey, Larry. Welcome back.
He was tricking me.
Uh-oh.
We have this cool old, of course we have a ring because we live in the future and it's really cool to look at Sean Young as she's like, hey, let me in, Larry. And I'm like, no, leave me alone, Sean. Anyway, I don't know why he said that. But we have this old like mechanical ring doorbell. Have you ever seen those?
No.
It's basically a bicycle bell that fits in your door. It's very 1880s. You just ring.
Interesting.
And but ours broke like 10 minutes after we got it because salt air on the beach just rots metal instantly.
Sure.
And so, but if you know how to use it, it works. And so he just did that to me. And I'm like, motherfucker, did I block him out? Like
nice. Trickster. He's a trickster imp.
So sorry.
Good old Lieutenant Walker.
My pajama clad butt. It's true. I never wear pants.
Oh.
If I can help it. Yeah, get away from calling up seasons. I'm with you, Hector.
I mean, I don't even care. Like that part doesn't even bother me so much because I mean that's what everybody does now is like 8 to 10 episodes, whatever. That's fine, right? The next season of Netflix, Marvel, whatever the fuck, right? Just don't. Long story short, just hire me and Larry, and everything will be okay.
I couldn't do it. Though I just heard Alan McElroy, friend of the show, is a co-executive producer this year on Strange New World. So that's cool.
Nice.
It's kind of like
we should get him on here.
It's kind of like hiring us, except he knows what he's doing and is good at Hollywood.
We should get him on here and not talk about Star Trek.
I'm not sure.
Because I'm sure he has an NDA.
Talk to us.
Whatever. Everybody wants to talk to us. Philo, get your butt on here. You want to talk to us.
Oh, no, I meant he doesn't want to hear what we have to say about Star Trek.
Oh, no.
Alan is a very cool guy, man. He is very even keeled. And that's why we're friends, because he loves watching me pop off about stuff because he's like, oh, yes. Nice. I don't have that in my life at all. Nice. Anyway, so there was one more Star Trek thing I was going to say. I don't know. Do you hear about my Chewbacca thing?
No.
I have my old Don Post Chewbacca mask that my grandmother bought me for $60 in 1977.
Jesus.
Which I did the math.
That's like what, $500 now?
It's 230 just on inflation. I went to the inflation calendar. So my grandmother dropped the equivalent of $230 just to watch me go wee. Right.
That's
so from all of I was 14 and everything that's happened in my life from when I was 14, this fucking thing stayed in a box that my parents took care of. And so eventually my mom died 2 summers ago, and it ends up in my sister's house. And she's like, "What's this box of nonsense?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Open it up," because it just says Larry's room on it. And it's got like my coveted Millennium Falcon model, which is the best model I ever did. And this thing. And I'm like, I thought that was lost forever ago. Anyway, so I keep going like this because I'm looking at it on my desktop. There's a guy named Tom Spina who does restorations of movie props, and just like kind of as a lark, I'm like, you restore the Titanic that they sunk. Would you take a shot at like trying to save the latex this, because it's 40 years old, it's all hard and cracked and stuff. And he agreed to it.
Nice.
And so they sent me like, "Hey, do you have anything to say about this?" And I'm like, "You mean other than it's fucking amazing and perfect?" Thanks very much.
That's
so
awesome.
I get my boyhood chum before Christmas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, because we moved around a lot. Yeah. So like we didn't really have like, if you had like one thing, you kept track of that and that went in the car with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have too much shit. I have way too much stuff. It's always getting me in trouble. But what am I going to do? Get rid of it? I mean, come on.
Well, you have like, here's the thing I did. I have a pretty decent book collection.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you do, because that's your job.
It's my thing.
I was like, mine's all like research stuff that I somehow can't get rid of. Like I wrote The Black Diamond, a thing about like, super highway in the future. And so I bought this book about the Autobahn. So I could tell you all kinds of shit about the chemical composition of the asphalt of the Autobahn.
Nice.
Because that's like what I'm talking about. You just never know, right?
Yeah.
But I can't get rid of that book either. Like that's like I can tell you what I was doing. Like when I learned that fact, and that book, it's all related to this thing in my life, right? I don't know. And I don't think that there's anything mentally wrong, but that is concerning. Like it's
just there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I value everything the same way, right? Like, oh, here's like the last gift my father gave me. And oh, here's something that I don't even know where I ended up. I think I found that on the bus. Like I will treat those both the same way, Like, oh yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Mental. That's where the mental thing comes in.
Boat. Yeah. Ton of books. Too many books. We need a new house. We need to win the lottery. That's what
you're not gonna, after doing all that work, you're not gonna move, are you?
No, not at all.
I told Mimi, when I feel myself dying, I will do you the favor to crawling out into the backyard. So you can't. In our neighborhood, it's pretty Asian American, and it's a really bad taboo. If somebody dies in the house, no one will buy your house.
Oh,
so I will crawl out to the back. You get to say with a straight face, "No, he died over there by the tomatoes."
He died over there.
And
that guy.
The house is safe, though. No one has died in the house. And when
it's only going to haunt your backyard.
We bought it in August of 1999, and they revealed to us that nobody had died in the house, but a dog had died in the house 2 owners before.
Oh boy!
Like that's how serious they take it. And we're like, we're good. And then guess what? We found a picture of a dog underneath the refrigerator that they hadn't moved, I guess, since 2 owners before. Anyway.
It's a lot
that's very Star Trek. That's more of a Orville plot.
That is an Orville plot, yes.
Where who's the red-haired guy that's married to Eric's sister.
What's his face?
Gordon would end up time traveling and place the picture of his beloved dog under there, and that would be a message to the crew that would make everybody tear up at the end.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I see like an Orville post that's like, yeah, renew the Orville. Orville's great. And I'm like, oh, you poor people.
There's some people don't understand how the world works, huh?
You poor people. Meanwhile, like Eric's sister is doing interviews, being like, yeah, it was fun while it lasted, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, just keeping track of pop culture has really, the whole Rona thing is really, and the rise of streaming, those two things put together, like, really changed my habits about keeping track of stuff. I love the show Upload with Robbie ML.
Okay.
And it came out during the middle of the coronavirus, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. Compelling characters, a weird premise. And then the second one came out, and it's like, well, spot on this one because it's always like, disappointing sophomore effort.
Sure.
The second band's album is always like, you worked really hard on your first album, and everybody loves it because it's perfect. And now you have 18 months to put out the second album.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's kind of what happened with this. They made like a really crafted setup, and it was like, okay. And then they were like, now we need season 2. And they're like, well, we kind of have some ideas, But now, because of that, season 3 has been out forever, and I haven't even tried to watch it.
That's tough.
And that would not have happened in the old days. I would have binged it all in one night.
Right.
Like,
I mean, you're the guy who watched every episode of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. And wrote an article about it.
So,
for 7 years. But Walker and I were talking about that with Daredevil, because it's like, it's in his brain, he thinks it's hilarious that the first season of Daredevil on Netflix, I was so interested in that I watched all of them at once. I got up at midnight, started watching, and I watched 3 before I like even got some coffee. And then I watched 3 more, and then took him to his, I forget what you call it, daycare, because he was a baby. And then
that's how long ago it was.
I just kept watching, man. And then night, I'm like, I could go to bed, or I could watch it and say I did this all in one day. And I did, and I didn't remember it. I had to wake up the next day and watch it again.
Nice.
I was like, I don't even remember. Like, but I technically did it. Everyone witnessed me. My eyes were open.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
awesome.
Walker calls that dad lore, like just dumb shit that happened before he was born, or like was aware of what was going on. And he's like, I don't have any dad lore stories. And I'm like, dude, because you're not a dad. Like, where that comes from is that I had all these crazy ass adventures, and then I became a dad, and now I'm doing a different thing. So you're in the spot where you have to have all those crazy ass adventures. So go ahead, buddy. And so now he does.
Yeah.
But he's very respectful and tells me where he is.
You know who doesn't go on crazy adventures? Star Trek Strange New Worlds. They're just
not
boring.
Exploring.
It's just a boring show. That's it. That's my.
I think lots of it is good. I think all that last season not having
Anson Mount
in it
was a problem.
Really crippling.
That
like
was a big problem.
Fans are gonna look back on it like we look back on the writer's strike one of the second season of Next Gen.
Right.
They're like, oh, there was an obvious problem there, and they did the best they could.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that show is predicated on it being fucking Star Trek. You know what Star Trek means? A fucking JFK stand-in in the center seat with his 2 best buddies and a bunch of friends in the band and a fucking fast car getting into shit. It like
hell yeah.
It's not a hard show to write. I mean,
you would think so.
I don't get why these guys.
You really think it's not a hard show to write, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's too much like, oh, You know what's working for Marvel? This parallel universe thing. They get
Yes.
to have all their toys and play with them all together, and the audience is on their side. So guess what? Maybe we can shut up Larry and John, and Captain Kirk's got a different insignia in this one, guys. And like it's just it's like they want to eat cake all the time.
I hate
And they
the
just are eating the
multiverse
frosting,
bullshit.
and they don't know what's inside.
I hate it.
I love it. It's just you can't do it all the time for everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Marvel called that. That's great. Like it's the whole Marvel and DC thing, right? Hey, Marvel's got like a cool teenage wisecracking insect character kid. And DC goes, oh, we better fucking do Blue Beetle now. You know, it's like, okay, and it could be great. It's just, we saw where that came from. So your shine isn't going to be as shiny. That's all.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah. So
that's kind of a drag, like because Phil just went. I kind of fell out of love with Strange New World. I'm like, yeah, us too. Yeah. Oh well. Still love Star Trek though.
To be fair, I never loved it in the first place. So
I know you're kind of
above everybody else. You know?
You're like Dr. I told you so.
Yeah.
I still like it, right? But I am like notoriously pleased. It's just that it doesn't offend me. It's like that's where the bar is now. It's like, wow, it doesn't suck as bad as Star Trek Discovery.
I'm just really looking forward to
care on like Prodigy, right? So
oh yeah. I'm really looking forward to season 5 of Discovery. So I think I'm gonna actually enjoy it because I'm gonna sit there the whole time and just watch it and just be like, you idiots.
Just revel that it's going away.
You fucking idiots. You tried to appease the masses and instead you got canceled. Yeah, that's
not even that, man. Those people had no chance because they had 50 people all trying to do their version of the show at once. And somehow, inexplicably, 73 people weighing in on what was a good idea about that show and what was happening. Just the fact that guys like you and me could stay up on what was happening daily, like we were in the meetings, was insane to me. It was insane.
Yeah. The whole thing was dumb.
Anyway. And they get what they get. Nobody forgot. I mean, they all forgot that they were making a TV show. They were all they just were like, well, we have to hit this date for this thing to deliver our can of widgets. And it's like, no, man, it's not a can of widgets. You're not just doing a TV show. You're doing a Star Trek, right? You know what you need to do? Like, there's Rome didn't fall in the 20th century, and they have gladiators on TV. You have to hit that level of awesomeness, or what the fuck are you?
I fucking love that episode.
Right, exactly.
That's one of the episodes where Kirk, like, they actually show Kirk banging the chick.
There's Drusilla, right?
Yeah.
There's the I was just gonna say there's the kind of Star Trek trivia knowledge that you really need and that you get from me and John Price, but John's been wiped up the face of the earth. Wow, wouldn't that be horrible if something did happen in Virginia and that's that. Well, that'd be ironic, and boy, would I have a lot of crow to eat. But it is 3:59. Maybe the science advisor just cut him off. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for checking us out, Phil and Hector. Who else was here today? Sagasag? Yeah, Sagasag was here. Thanks, guys. Steve, of course. Thanks for letting us, getting us on. So, all right. I'll leave you with Walker's catchphrase. Always be you, always be cool, and always be hot dog.